From Italy, sending greetings to all homes and also especially to Italy with bib number 1 Federica Sanfilippo, 29-year-old police officer from Vietnam is on the track. And with bib number 2 ready to start. She comes from Germany, and she's one of the best skiers in this tournament, and currently second at the Sprint World Cup,
Vera, I think, although she's lost her ski form a little, it is going to be a tight fight.
32 points clear at the moment, once you've taken away the deductions.
It's going to be tight. Well, there's Denise Herrmann. Now, if Denise has a race, as she did last week, hitting all 10 targets, winning the race by 27 seconds, she may well affect the overall total. But I think it is Ekov, of course, who is the main challenger.
Well, I don't think Herrmann can challenge. She's on 660 points and Vera on 739 once you've deducted her worst. Lisa Theresa Hauser, nice early start for her. And she, you know, in the Czech Republic, I thought she looked pretty good. You know, just started to flow a bit more, looked a bit more relaxed. Again, the pressure of the World Championships was off.
Yes, it was much better, wasn't it? At the World, last week in Czech Republic, 15th in this race, and then 16th, almost half field in the mass start.
Hauser 17th in the World Cup standings. Vanessa Hintz, the second of the Germans to get underway. They've done pretty well in terms of bib numbers. Don't forget, Hintz got the silver medal in the individual race in the World Champs, 0-0-0-1. Missed one on that last shot, and it was still a fantastic turnout. And actually, of all the female athletes, I think she had the best shooting score when you take in all the races at the Worlds.
She's often so good, and they're very similar. Preutz starting just behind her teammate Hintz. They're the same size, they ski much the same speed. One of them will have will get themselves on the podium occasionally, then the other one will. And of course, Preutz did do that twice at the World Championships.
So that's 5 starters, 3 of them German.
And a snowstorm.
Did they slip the officials a euro or two to get so many early? In these sort of conditions, Mike, you either want to get away early, or I think you do what the Ukrainians do and say, we'll go groups 3 and 4.
It's quite incredible. There are 34 athletes in this group 1. There's Davidova. 30 athletes, 34 athletes, and for the Germans all to fit 3 of them in the first 5. It's unusual.
Well, it's starting to look more and more like the Holmenkollen 50, where the athletes pretty much disappeared into the mist. But when this sort of front comes through, and you get, just like when heavy rain comes, you tend to get a build-up of wind prior to the rain or the snow arriving. So I think there's going to be quite a lot of luck involved today. If you get a windy session when you come into the range, particularly in the prone, you're going to be in trouble.
Lady Luck certainly plays its part today. 11 kilometers an hour, the wind, that moves the fall of the shot. We saw it in zeroing. Dorothea Vera, one of the best shots in the world. She was 4 or 5 clicks to the right, so she brought it back to the left and up a couple. That was 15 minutes ago, and it seems to be very changeable now.
Yeah, just about everyone shooting low right in the early part of zeroing. Puskachkova for the Czech Republic. She's got her teammate Davidova just starting a minute ahead, so that's a nice split to get. Heavy snow, Mike. Just starting to think, having thought that the first 10 were the best places to be, maybe you don't want to be out there as this fresh snow falls.
I really don't think so. And yes, the warnings and the weather predictions were for some humidity, some snow, but this has come on incredibly heavy over the last 8 minutes.
And look at the flags in the background. It's not 11 kilometers an hour at the moment. We're getting up towards 21. Herrmann won't feel it down in the dip, but as soon as she climbs this hill, then she'll get it full in the face. And this is a right old storm blowing through the Kontiolahti range at the moment. Reminds me of Östersund a few years ago, where the mat started flying around, the billboards started falling over, and sure enough, the race was cancelled before the end of it. Let's hope that doesn't happen today.
Enough cancellations this season. Look at this climb. She started climbing when the clock was on 3:34. That we've switched clock now, so we'll get an indication of how long it's taking Denise up this hill. She doesn't look as strong today for me, but that's a good split, 16 ahead of Sanfilippo.
Yeah, if Herrmann doesn't produce the fastest time to the first split, then we can deduce that an early start perhaps not favourable. If she does, then I don't think any harm done. Julia Simon for France, and She's only 23, so I'm assuming she's going to be around next year. 10th in the total score. You know, a top 10 finish in the overall World Cup is brilliant, but she's pretty much gone unnoticed this year, except for her performances in Oberhof and Ruhpolding, where she was sort of consistent top 10.
She was, and then unfortunately at the World Championship, she won't like me talking about it, the penalty loop in prone shooting in the mass start. It wasn't a difficult day, she just panicked, and that really didn't help the team's efforts there at all. They expected a medal.
Oh, you mean in the relay?
In the mixed relay.
In the mixed relay, certainly that was the early stages. She did pretty well in the mass start with just 2 misses, but Tyrell Eckhoff, certainly someone who didn't really perform at the World. She was really disappointed with that. She says she's been home, got her head together. Oberegger, her coach, has played a big part in just trying to get and with Eckhoff, it's all about confidence. If she's confident she's going to hit the targets, she does. If she believes she will, she does.
It's incredible. Breza starting, up and down season for her as well. No, Eckhoff, it really fascinates me that she was allowed to be left alone, if you like, and not managed a little better for the World Champs, because she's so fast, so good leading into them. Just needed a little bit of, I think, a little bit of calming down into the World Champs.
Now, is she going to aim off, or are we going to see a change in the sights? Because the wind is about twice as strong as it was when she came in. And this is where, coming from a cross-country background doesn't help. Watch this. Is it going low right?
If it misses, I would say it will be to the right. She's going well.
Everything extreme low right for Herman, but she's got away with it so far.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
If not a tiny bit fortunate, although that angle made it look further right than it was. But 5 out of 5, and Herman will be quietly confident at this stage. And I guess that news will get to Eckhoff and Breza, starting 12 and 13, the other 2 women in the field who can match Herman for speed.
Well, Hauser into the range, 22.5 seconds slower than Herman. She used to shoot very fast, Hauser, but she's certainly in windy conditions. She backs off and takes heed of the flags.
Another gust coming through. Yeah, I'm afraid that was inevitable. Might have been better just to wait there, Mike. The last 2 shots taken with a massively increased wind as we watch Vanessa Hintz, potential podium finisher, certainly. At 27 behind Herman coming in, that's a big margin to give away on the first 2.5K.
More than a penalty loop, it's a huge margin.
Yeah, 10 seconds a kilometre is a big chunk. Well, the Germans are on target. That's 2 of them through. And we're going to see Vanessa Preutz in a second. She's settled there.
It's strange, although the visuals, your brain is seeing all that snow coming in on the track, but the range section is actually a little more shaded, so it's deceptive. You have to really be careful in these conditions. Well, 3 athletes gone through, and no penalties yet. Of course, some on the penalty loop, they'll be heading out. Lisa Teresa missing 2. Just about to say Davidova will shoot relatively slow, but she's picked her pace up massively.
Yeah, that's a really confident looking shoot, and look at that, 29 seconds for the prone in these conditions. There won't be too many who match that.
Now, those starting later, I'm sure the technicians, this is now big snowflakes. It was tiny little snowballs. They'll be testing new bases, new skis, and for groups 3 and 4, they have an opportunity to change the skis and change the waxes before the starts.
Herman on the big climb for the 2nd time. She's not hanging around. Remember, she won the sprint in Nowe Miasto, winning time 18:51, and she goes through 3.6, which is just under the halfway mark in 9:11.
Just looking down in the stand section of the range, it's not too difficult. So Herman, when she comes in, she'll probably line up on lane 28, 29, 30. And if she's as relaxed as she was last week, they're all going to go down. Kashikova, that took some time to hook up, and that's the hook which supports the weight of the rifle. Your left hand's wedged into a hand stop.
I'll tell you, if Denise Herman goes clear in the stand, Mike, the chances are she's going to win because of her superior ski speed. And that really will put the pressure onto number 18, Dorothea Vera, who's yet to come in for her prone shoot. But if she hears that Herman has won, she's still got to put in a pretty good performance. She's got to be top 12 to be absolutely certain of taking the sprint globe.
And I'm just thinking historically, the last race of the season where all the points have been levelled, the two worst races have been taken away, we so often see a little meltdown from those chasing the big globes for the end of the season.
Yeah, and it's normally a mass start to finish off the year. Do you think they could have? Do you think they will have considered changing the program here and say, okay, let's make the last race a mass start?
I think they will have considered that, but it's all out in terms of pre-World Cup. All the information's gone out, especially for TV viewing, etc.
That decision could have been made prior to the sprint. You can't make it once the sprint has run.
Yes, it had to happen before Oslo stepped in and said they're cancelling. This is tough for Eckhoff. She's only 4 seconds ski time behind Herman, but she's taking an age for the first shot to be released.
I think she's copying Johannes Tingesbø. Took 7-8 seconds longer than average to get his 5 down. One miss from Eckhoff. That swings a little advantage certainly to Herman in sense of today's race. Vera, of course, will be glad to hear she's missed because Eckhoff is the closest to her in the overall World Cup. Brazier, after a really good start to the season, remember she got a win up in Östersund, down in 6th place in the overall. And by my calculation, too far off Roysland at the moment to overtake the Norwegian today.
Frank Budu just, he normally puts on the magnetic board where the fall of the shots went and then takes a photo, sends it out to the coaches on the track if they need major adjustments. But of course, Stan shooting next, it's not that relevant. More relevant in a 4-shot race.
Well, that's quite a job when he's got to keep his eye on all of the French team coming through.
Just looking further back, Vera, Dorothea Vera at 1.8 kilometers. She's 15 seconds behind ski time.
Well, it won't be long before she's in for her first shoot. Denise Herman here for her second. Now, in Nova Mesto, she managed to go 5 and 5. Good, solid-looking position.
She said last week she just felt so relaxed. She absolutely looks the same this week. Oh, half hit. Didn't go down.
That might unsettle her. Takes her time, and it pays off. Gets number 4, and so just one penalty for Denise Herman. She's not out of contention for the win, certainly with the speed she's got, but it does open that door for the likes of Eckhoff, certainly, and of course Dorothea Vera, who's on her way in. Or is this Vera leaving the range? She's pushing the pace.
She certainly is. No, just coming in to shoot. This is a little drop down, just climbed the hill, the final. She's coming in fast to the range.
But despite that, Vera 18.9 behind, and so she's virtually, not quite, but almost a penalty loop behind Herman already. The shooting has got to be fast and accurate.
Just so composed. She never seems too phased, too stressed by the situation. What's it going to be? Adjusting the sight 1 click, counting for 3 millimeters. It's going to be fast.
It's got slightly better wind conditions than we saw a couple of minutes ago for Eckhoff. Oh, that is unlucky. 1 millimeter, and that would have gone down.
Oh, that was surprising. You can see the flags from left to right. All the signs were there that they were pushing the follow the shot to the right.
No one clear so far. Herman, incidentally, the only one through this stage. Hints, nice solid chink of a hit. And again, that's the one that Herman missed. And then another miss. So suddenly a really good performance. Looks below par for Vanessa Hints. And Preutz will be in for her second shoot. She is actually on the firing point right now. Snatched at number 2, needs to just settle it down, can't afford more than 1 miss. In the World Championships here back in 2015, similar sort of conditions to the ones we have today. Only 1 person shot clear, that was Nowakowska, who finished on the podium on that occasion, but the average for the top 10 was 2 misses. Well, there's a real opportunity for a lesser-known athlete who can shoot the perfect 10 to get in there, or of course the local girl. Will Mäkäräinen be able to produce a best? It'd be great to see her get a win at this stage of the season.
I would love to see that, and it's, you know, it's not an unsimilar day to the day where in Oberhof she managed to outshoot everybody by 2 targets out of 20. She missed 1, the next best was 3.
Anaïs Bescon Really like the focus. Minimal movement in between each round, stares down the targets. And again, just slightly low right. That's been pretty consistent throughout the day.
I'm surprised the information hasn't been sent out. Maybe it has for some of the athletes that looked most. Vera missing to the right, and all the hits were in the right segment of the target. You would want to adjust your sights 3 left.
Ada starting for Finland. Her form certainly seems to have picked up in the last couple of weeks. And she has started 30 seconds behind her teammate Kaisa Mäkäräinen. And Ada, good race today. She'll secure a top 30 finish in the World Cup. But it's fairly tight in those areas, so a disastrous race, and she could well drop out. Sulumdal played a key role in the Norwegian relay team, Mike. Not easy being the weak link in a team.
And not easy taking that first leg where there's so much at stake, but that's why she's included in the relays, because generally the shooting is good. The skiing, 27 seconds behind Herman into the range at 2.5 kilometers. It's quite a margin in terms of ski speed.
And take that for the whole 7.5. She's a minute slower than the best. Former World Cup winner. It would be lovely to see her back to that sort of form. We saw some good races from her at the beginning, a couple of seasons ago, at the very start of the season. Surprised us with a podium finish in Östersund.
It was fabulous to see that. And yes, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when she was regularly getting top 10 positions. Sulumdal.
Eckhoff needs 5. 38 seconds down on Herman. And Herman, remember, missing 1 in the stands. So a 5 out of 5 would even things up a little, but the German will still be slightly ahead. Is she as confident as she was last week? Oh, that's a real shame. I was just about to say, she's hit more 5 out of 5s in the stand this year than she has in her whole career. And certainly since 2016, when the World Championships were in Oslo, she's raised a game, and it's been great to see her standing shoot improving. Justine Brezard, 40 seconds, just running 2 seconds behind Eckhoff. But,
well, total of 3 missed so far. Let's get the last one. Just too much. 3 penalties. That's going to, even though she skis so fast, that may put her just outside the top 10 or top 15 even.
Yeah, 450 metres added, plus the fatigue that involves. I think we could be looking at the winner here. Started number 3 last week to get the win over Miesto. She's missed a target this week, but then again, so of most of her rivals. Herman is heading for home. She might not quite get under the 20 minutes, but she's only got some 50 metres or so to go. And remember, the winning time last time we had a sprint here in Kontiolahti was Domaracheva in 20:56. So she's just, she's well under that, just over the 20-minute mark. And Herman has set a very, very tough target for everyone else. She leads after the first shoot, she leads after the second shoot, and she's the first home. So Vera we need to track, Mike. Vera going through the first shoot for Italy. I think she's about 35 behind. Just trying to think where Herman went wrong. It was pretty early season. Hogfilson, she had a couple of disastrous races, didn't pick up any points. But as your worst are taken away, that doesn't really matter.
Yes, her ski speed has kept her in there. What a pity, Vitozzi. Oh, it's only 1. Sorry, I thought she'd missed 1 in the Prone as well. Well, Singerly should be happy with that. Today, that's going to be a pretty good shooting score in these difficult conditions.
Preutz has come out of the second shoot 15 seconds down. Lena Heike, what's going on there? 4 misses. Oh, that's such a shame. Such a shame. Tandrevold started 15, racing for home now. So Preutz with the second fastest time. Eckhoff is 32 behind. Of those going for the overall World Cup, Mike, we've still got to wait for Urberg, who started late. She's starting number 48. So that's going to put a bit of interest at the back of the field.
It certainly will. I'm so impressed with Preutz. Preutz is out-skiing her normal performance by a good 20 seconds.
Now, 5 out of 5, and Vera will make her job of winning the overall so much easier. Oh, now she definitely needs this last shot, but she will know what it's worth. It's gone wide as well.
This is the pressure we're talking about.
Vera is in trouble.
singularly can't believe it. He didn't expect that. The conditions at that moment weren't so difficult. She came into the range, Patrick, 48 behind. So this is going to be, what, a minute 30 behind when she leaves.
That's 3 misses in total for Vera. Eckhoff has missed 2. And Hannah Öberg, if she's in the start, she's seen what's going on. And she may think, this is my chance. If she just takes an extra 5 seconds on both shoots, gets the targets, then it could be advantage Sweden. And Hannah Öberg, who at the moment, at the start of today, in 3rd place and effectively 34 points down on Dorothea Vera. Now, Vera might struggle to make the top 10.
I think so.
That means her sprint title is at stake, because Herman, who is 2nd, if I remember right, in the sprint standings. Herman is 2nd in the sprint standings, looking as though she's going to take the win and get the 60 points.
It's incredible, absolutely. Mäkäräinen could change things if she keeps this kind of shooting performance up. She could change things at the sharp end of the field.
Multiply 9 by 3, you get 27, you get a penalty loop. It could be tight between her and Herman.
Well, it's only good 12 seconds down at the moment, but 2nd place for Mäkäräinen.
Just trying to close the sight cover. Worthwhile or futile?
It's really worthwhile, because in this dry snow, it gets right down into that 1 millimeter little hole in the rear sight, and that cover is designed to keep the snow out. You want to cover it. The foresight less important. And snow does get down the barrel. You don't really want that, so you do need that front cover covering the end. That's a pity for Eder.
Oh, that's a disaster in front of her. I was going to say her home crowd.
Her fan, the coach. It's yeah, pretty empty.
So there are the standings after the first shoot. Mäkäräinen, the closest. Davidova, we know, has gone through the 2nd shoot and was in 2nd place coming in. She's gone out in 3rd, and quite a good race between Davidova and Preutz for runners-up position at the moment. Neither of them are going to challenge Herman, but I think Preutz may well win that. Preutz actually has gone and won that. She's in 2nd place across the line, and only 20 seconds down on Herman. And don't forget, today's results determine your start position for tomorrow's pursuit. This week, it's the women who race 3 successive days. Sulumdal, 5 out of 5 in the prone.
Strange, when you expect to come in and you're expecting wind, then it's calm as it was there for Sulumdal. The brain finds it difficult, because you're expecting one thing, then it's dead calm, and it almost puts more pressure. Here comes Eckhoff.
Yeah, what she managed to do could well go up into the top 3. Preutz, I think, is going to be safe. That would have been very valuable points for Eckhoff. 20 seconds has gone. Now we've got Davidova on 42. She's certainly inside that. She's only got another 40 meters or so to go, and Eckhoff goes into the podium positions. But with Mäkäräinen still out on the tracks, Hannah Öberg still to go through her prone shoot. She may not stay there for long. She goes into 3rd place, pushes Davidova down into 4. So Herman Preutz still 1 and 2. Here comes Mäkäräinen, 5 out of 5 in the stand, and Mäkäräinen is in with a chance of not only getting on the podium, but she's in with a chance of taking the win. And Vera digging deep behind her, Mike. She needs to.
Well, this is if Vera can stick. I don't think she can. I was going to say stick in behind Mäkäräinen. There's a drag-along factor, but she's lost that opportunity now. And Mäkäräinen skiing faster right now than Herman was at the same point on the track.
Well, she needs to, because she lost 9 seconds on the first lap. What was the time behind for Mäkäräinen? We'll certainly get one just before she comes in to shoot. Brezar on the run for home, and 53 seconds. I think top 5 is impossible. 6 is certainly possible if she just ups the pace for the last 100 meters.
Well, Brezar was just, 8 seconds ahead of Vera as she left the range, as they both left the range. So this is important. This 1:17 behind.
Brezar into 7. Hintz pushed down to 8. Brezar, top 6 of the World Cup standings, not in a position to challenge for the overall. It's all about Vera, Eckhoff and Öberg. And Herman, if she does pick up 120 points from the last couple of races, will move on to 780. I still don't think that's going to be enough to challenge for the win, but she's highly likely to finish in the, to challenge for the top 3.
Yes, Vitozzi's actually chasing 3rd place. This could really affect Eckhoff. She's running a second behind her at the last checkpoint.
Yeah, I think she's just going to miss out, actually, Mike. It's about 10 seconds from that final corner. And the time has gone. She will be inside Davidova, so a nice finish for Lisa Vitozzi. She needs some good news after a disappointing, I was going to say fortnight, but it's really been a month of poor racing by her.
It has. She wanted so much this year.
Now, here's someone who has won here before, not in a World Cup, but in the World Championships. She got the individual title back in 2015. She likes this course, she likes the wind. Maybe it's a day for Oliver.
It could well be. She likes starting late. It's quite interesting. She's a psychologist by trade, and it was quite interesting listening to her preparations, actually. What do you do in the last 30 minutes before your race? She said, sometimes I like music, sometimes I don't. So she has varieties of race preparations depending on the conditions and how she feels. I suppose you get stale using the same method all the time. Bendica, 4th position as she came in to shoot. This could be her best day ever.
Well, that to me is an indication that the tracks are getting a little quicker.
I said it's her best day ever. She needed the last 2 shots, and she unfortunately missed them. Should be out in 2nd place had she not missed them.
Now, big moment. Hannah Öberg, a win today will put her ahead of Tiril Eckhoff in the World Cup standings. It will close the gap down significantly on Vera, might even put her ahead of Vera, depending on where Vera finishes. She's heading for the line at the moment, and she was down in 13th last time we saw her, about 1 minute 10 behind. There'll be 1 or 2 Swedish watching this nervously. That is just what they didn't want to see. So 4 out of 5 in the same position as Eckhoff, and I think Hermann can relax now. Kajsa Mäkäräinen, the only threat to the German now, 3.3 behind, 6 seconds quicker than Hermann on that last loop. How much money are you putting on a 5?
Oh, I would love to. I'd love to say yes.
I'm saying no.
I'd love to say yes.
I think we're looking at 2 or 3.
Oh, so sad. Potential winner. And actually, the conditions in terms of wind, not so bad.
And visibility. Visibility's got very, very tough at the moment for Mäkäräinen. Well, that was agonising for her fans. Suddenly 3 and shades of 2015, where she missed 5 out of 10 in the Sprint World Championships. So she's not going to finish with a flourish here in Kontiolahti, and Hermann looking very, very safe at the moment. We'll just go back to the first shoot, Mike. Anyone starting after number 40 who's got anywhere near?
Yeah, Monier, she has good days, she has bad days. Today it's good so far. She's only 19 seconds behind after the first shoot. Mäkäräinen, but actually, she may well finish in the top 6 the way she's skiing, the way she pushed up her ski speed in that middle lap of 2.5.
Yeah, and that could play a key part in determining who gets the Crystal Globe at the end of the year. Vera has got to hope that Mäkäräinen does not finish ahead of her. Vera's gone from 13 up to 11 as she's come across the line. Sorry, we missed that. We'll give you her time in just a moment as we see shot time finishing. Vera's time 1:19 behind with the 3 misses. Reza 1:17 having missed 3. And suddenly it looks very good for Tiril Eckhoff. 32 points behind at the beginning of the day. And that could be closed. It will certainly be single figures going into the final race of the season.
And I think Mäkäräinen is going to knock Vera down another place. Of course she is.
So Öberg still very much in this, Mike. She needs to match Eckhoff, really, get up into the top 3 or 4.
Very much. There's another athlete. Was that Aita Gersparin? May well, yes, bib 37. She may well separate Eckhoff and Vera by another position. Mari Eder, her husband, he spends some busy mornings in that wax room. He makes the final calls on the base preparation, and then all the specialist waxes are put on top of his perfect bases. It's a busy job. So far, so good. Great job, great discipline there. She wasn't frightened to hold when she didn't feel comfortable, and it paid off. Well, if Mäkäräinen could only have hit those 5, there was a potential win. Hirschler, one of the few athletes, in fact, maybe the second athlete. Heunisch has also hit the perfect 10, so only 2 athletes so far from 38, 39 have hit the perfect 10 shots. So Hirschler, this is, again, another athlete putting Dorothea Vera down another place, I'm quite sure.
Well, she's in 5th, so she might be able to attack Tiril Eckhoff's time. Just looking at the margins at the moment, Hirschler 27 behind. Actually, she's 5 seconds up on Eckhoff going out of that second shoot, Mike. Eckhoff has put in a very, very quick final loop. Done it almost what Martin Fourcade did yesterday.
Martin, he used some incredible will. He said he's tired, but he dug deep and put in a great last lap.
41 is Lynn Pettersson of Sweden, and starting some 3.5 minutes after her, Hannah Öberg, who's wearing 48 and is on course. We'll try and update you on Öberg's position when she comes through. Swede down in 16th place after the first shoot, 34 seconds down.
Lynn Persson, it's interesting. Her left hand there supporting the rifle. She's twitching, she's nervous. And it's cost her. It's cost her dearly. The last two shots. Bendika missed the last two shots, so the mind gets in the way of the technique.
That was a top 10 thrown away by Persson as we watch Oliver Percht and the Russian team favouring a late start. 18th in the World Cup standings this year. Only 2 wins to her name in her career. Last one was in 2016, so it'd be a big shock to see her take it, but shooting like that, who knows? 26.2, she's 1 penalty loop behind. Don't forget that Herman, the leader, missed one on the second shoot. Can't see her picking up enough speed to challenge, but a podium is certainly possible.
Kuklina as well. Kuklina has shown great form in terms of shooting. Her ski speed has lifted massively.
Yeah, and that's 10 out of 10 for Kuklina, so she joins a very, very small group of athletes managing to clear the 10 targets.
This is a podium performance from Kuklina.
Quite possibly, and there have been very few of those for Russia so far this year. Loginov, the most successful of the Russian men's team, certainly. And there you see the standings after the second shoot. So Herman Preuss, Kuklina, Davidova, Witz, Horschler, then Heunisch. Again, Heunisch having a good race, shooting the 10. And Tyrell Eckhoff, is she going to hang on to a top 3? She must be under pressure. Davidova's across the line. What about Heunisch? She's just missed out as well. And Eckhoff's last lap, Mike, quite sensational. Yeah, the coaches knew full well what was happening. And Eckhoff, having missed 2, she had to try and pull some of that deficit time back on the track. And she's one of these athletes that you give her a split time, right, you've got to pick up 7 seconds somehow from somewhere. She seems to find that. She's a real fighter. Bendika with 2 misses, just gets a top 10 for now.
But significantly ahead of Dorothea Vera. That's her down 1 more place in terms of Eckhoff.
And Vera at the moment down in 12, which gives her 29 points. Eckhoff sitting in 3, which gives her 48, so a swing of 19. Only 32 between them at the start of today in terms of when you have done the calculation. Now, Hannah Erberg, this is her chance. 5 out of 5, and she becomes a real contender for the Crystal Globe for the first time. Oh, that could be so expensive. No,
we said that's it. At the end of the season, the pressure, it creates a lot of wobble in the big names.
That is it. 1 bad shoot and a chance surely is gone. 33 points behind Vera, and we have to wait and see whether she can claw back any points on Vera at all. But don't forget, if she's way down on Eckhoff, then she's going to have that margin to make up in the pursuit tomorrow.
A total of 4 misses for Erberg. You saw her just lose her spirit as she bent down to pick her poles up.
And with Vera, what's the margin in terms of time between Vera, who's down in 12th, and Eckhoff, who's in 3rd? It's just over, what, 40 seconds?
47 seconds.
47 seconds. Now, Vera is the best in the women's tour at making comebacks in the pursuit. She's going to have to produce her best ever, I think, to challenge for the overall tomorrow. Vakarainen, how's this looking in terms of time? Lost a bit of speed, but she's gone ahead of Vera, so that's another point lost for Vera, down to 28. And now we have a swing of 20 points, 12 in it. And that situation could get worse and worse and worse, because Vera, after the second shoot, is down in 22nd position. She could finish outside the top 20.
Here's another athlete. We thought Selina. It was Selina, beg your pardon. I thought it was Ayita. She left the range. She's going to separate Eckhoff and Dorothea Vera as well. So it's not a good news day for the Italian.
Wow, it's a great news day for biathlon fans, not Italian fans, but, Mike, it makes the pursuit an absolute cracker. It's just a shame that there is that 47-second gap between Eckhoff and Vera at the start of the race. But Eckhoff is quite capable of missing 2 or 3 on 1 shoot.
She is, and as you said, when it comes to pursuit competitions, Vera, she just goes into automatic, doesn't think, just releases those shots so fast. And often she moves, if she has a bad race in the sprint, she can move so far up the field.
Yeah, what comes around goes around. Vera is having what she did to Vitozzi last year being done by Eckhoff to her this year.
And if you imagine, had Oslo being able to go ahead, they would have given some breathing space and chance, opportunity for Eckhoff.
Ada, who started well, skied that first lap very fast. I wonder if she just attacked it a little bit too hard. Starting just ahead of Vakarainen. Now, how about Horschler? She is going to squeeze into the top 12. I think she's going ahead of Vera. She is going ahead of Vera, so that's another position. And now Vera finds herself down in 15th. 15th, yes, it is. So that's 25 points. Every couple of minutes, things get worse for the Italians, and they know they're going to have to produce the race of their life. And actually, Mike, it's going to rely on Eckhoff making a muck of the pursuit tomorrow.
And that's a lot of pressure. One given day with a huge amount of loaded pressure. Urleva Pecht, the ski speed isn't there. She lost 26 seconds on the first lap to Herman. And actually, looking at that time, it's going to be maybe 25, 24 seconds this time. She did shoot faster, though, on the range. Still big names out there with Vita and Vaya Shemarenko.
Who do you think has been the best athlete on the women's tour this year?
There's been many variations, in terms of Herman. When she hits the targets, like today, she's practically untouchable. So we've had flashes of brilliance there. Vera is just consistent, apart from today. And Ekhoff winning, what, seven races? 7 races.
So that's not to be sniffed at.
But then a meltdown at the World Champs. So that let her down in terms of consistency and when it mattered most.
World Championship gold or the overall World Cup? You know which means more.
Well, I think a World Champion title... that medal stays around your neck. The crystal globe.
I don't believe you've said that. I don't believe you've said that.
I've got to say the opposite. That's what you do. No, I think a world champion, if you're not going to win the overall, then it's fabulous to get
offered
a
you
world
the choice.
championship.
It's got to be the overall. That crystal globe, that tells you the best biathlete throughout the whole season.
It's consistent. It's consistency throughout the whole season.
You can get lucky and win a World Championships. You can't get lucky. You cannot be lucky and win the overall World Cup. Well, we'd be interested to know what you feel. Mike and I, we differ on many things. I still think you're having me on there because the overall World Cup is the one I'm sure that Johannes Tingesbø would go for. Urleva Pecht settling in the stand. She's someone who can challenge for a top 10. Not now, maybe, with those 2 misses. And across the line for Kuklina. And Kuklina has gone into 7th, having left the range in 2nd equal position with Preuss, so she's lost a massive time.
I wonder
she's
if
lost 27 seconds on that last lap.
I wonder if she's had a fall out there. There is one fast left-hander. We'll see all of the track tomorrow in the
Nothing
pursuit.
to do with that white stuff falling thick and fast.
I'm just wondering, is it any worse than it was earlier? I thought it might get pressed down as the race goes on, but of course it's still falling as heavy as it was at the start.
Oh, it's been a while since we've seen a 5 with 5. Good work from Minkinen, and a total of 9 out of 10. So she is going to be roughly 23, 24, I think, when she comes out.
This is her hometown, this is her home range, and has been training on this range since 6-year-old, and she mastered the 5 shots, no fear. They were always going to go down, 1:16 behind.
Yeah, 29 position, so if she gets the skates on, she could challenge Vera. Top 40, remember, get World Cup points, and for a lot of athletes, that's the aim of the day. Just get yourself some World Cup points, keep climbing the ladder. As we looked under the guidance of Mickey Grice. Is he going to be happy with that?
Missing 1 target. I think he would have hoped for a slightly better end time. She's 23rd. He would like to have found another, 30 seconds to put that into a top 10. Hetish. So many struggling today in terms of stand shooting.
I think the conditions are getting pretty tough on that last lap, Mike. Just looking at the times, there was a sort of period where it looked as though the things were speeding up, but there's so much fresh snow out there now. 4 misses from Hettich. This is one to forget. As we watch Mona Brosen on her way home. She started 30 seconds ahead of Hannah Öberg, and Brosen hitting 9 out of 10. That's a good performance by her. Goes into 22nd, no effect on the overall World Cup. We've still got Dorothea Vera sitting in 16, so she's on 25 points. Here comes Amonier now. This looks a little bit better. And Amonier leaving the range down in 15th position, and at that stage she was just 59 seconds behind, so she's put in a very, very good final lap. She'll only have lost a few seconds to Denise Herman, who's going to win this race here in Kontiolahti, but a top 15 for Amonier is great news for the French, bad news for Dorothea Vera. And Hannah Öberg, Mike, 25, loses points to Dorothea Vera, and with it surely goes her chance of winning the Crystal Globe, and she was one of the favourites at the start of the season.
She certainly was, and you get the feeling there. We saw the body attitude when she missed those 3 in standing. It could not believe the situation, and yeah, she'll be desperately disappointed today. She can, and it has got one of these mindsets to move forward by a long way tomorrow, but it's a big task ahead.
Well, Ekhoff's recovery on that last lap from 8th position, she's got herself up into 3rd, and that is going to be so crucial when it comes to tomorrow's race. And of course, that decent margin in terms of time that she has between herself, what was it, 47 seconds between herself and Dorothea Vera, and then Öberg even further down outside the top 24. And so a disaster for the Swede on what has turned out to be the final weekend of the biathlon season. Herman does it, 2nd in a row, Mike. More and more wins coming her way. Great news for the German biathlon team, who really struggled early season.
Yeah, very much. And of course, that'll be Herman's 3rd win of the season.
Now, Chevalier, often considered to be the weakest of the French team, but like a number of them, when she's on form, she's certainly capable of top 5.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, it took her time, a sensible shoot, and a minute behind coming in.
What a turnaround. Last week, Chevalier was in 60th position. She did miss 4 targets, and that's going to be a huge improvement this week. In fact, she'll be going out chasing top 5. Oh, 9th. My calculations are fading as the final races are underway. The final weekend.
Only 10-11 seconds between 5 and 10, so it's a tight affair. But Chevalier could play her part in the overall World Cup if she pushes Vera down another slot. As we watch Jislova of the Czech Republic, the best of the Czechs at the moment. We've got Davidova, who's 5, and I think she's the only one in the top 10. We've got Shvatova sitting in 21 at the moment.
I was just about to say, as Martin Rippel writes down, not happy with that performance. I was going to say that the wind shooting there on lane 30 is quite sheltered. I'm surprised that so many are missing so many in standing.
In terms of top 10, I think we've mentioned most of them. Hojniš of Poland, really good race. Another good race from her, sitting in 6th. She's finished 4th on a number of occasions this year. Koklina of Russia, 7th. Good race by her standards. Tandrevold in 8th. Steady Eddie for the Norwegian team. Tandrevold, great relay member. And then Selina Gasparin, the Swiss veteran, the oldest of the 3 sisters, down in 9, just ahead of Julia Simon of France in 10. Don't think there'll be too many changes to the top 10. We might see a couple get in there. Chevalier's got a chance.
Yes, and it'd be interesting to see how Stephanie Scherer gets on, her first ever outing in terms of World Cup. Very successful IBU Cup and championship races, European Championships. And that time, her ski time is pretty good for her first outing.
I'm sure there are a number of viewers and fans questioning why they didn't decide to just hold next week's competitions here in Finland again. But the government sort of putting restrictions on big events next week, and therefore there was really no choice. And the IBU's feeling is they don't want to get stuck up here. If there's a complete shutdown, they don't want to have all the biathletes isolated in Kontiolahti going stir crazy.
Yes,
so they want to try and get the athletes, the officials, all home before that happens.
Very much, and that's why, sadly, yesterday the American men were on the start list, but they knew their airports were shutting down, and that was the other threat, was many countries shutting down airports within the next 10 days. So I think, sadly, they've made the right decision. If airports are shutting, these athletes need to get home.
Yeah, and I think we have to consider ourselves fortunate that they're going to continue the racing. Things may change over the weekend. We may find tonight there's a directive that goes out, but let's hope not. We definitely want the pursuits tomorrow, because that decides the relays, the mixed relays out in Khanty-Mansiysk. Remember, some extraordinary mass starts out there, and the mass start is very different because they all start together. That's not going to happen. It's a pursuit for the last race of the year. You might just have seen Lightfoot's name flash across the screen, sadly just missing out on the last individual race of the season, outside the top 60. And the margin today, yesterday it was 2:29 for the top 60, today it's 2:31. Extraordinary.
That's a pity for Amanda, 7 seconds away from top 60 and a start tomorrow. She'll be disappointed. The shooting is, in terms of today, missing 2 is good shooting.
I think the Norwegians are doing their sums. 6 points by my reckoning.
Well, I think they'll be quietly confident when they have their little team meeting tonight, but they'll be playing it down so as not to put any further pressure on Tyrrell's shoulders.
And both races, the globe's still up for grabs, and it's a tight affair. 19 points between Johannes Tingsbo and Fourcade. So if Fourcade wins, quite possible, he's only starting 21 seconds behind the Norwegian, then Johannes has to finish in the top 4. That is enough pressure to make him shake.
I think so. He will be looking at that tonight. His mind, prior to going to sleep, he will be thinking about it. Thinking about his approach to the race, and it could affect his sleep throughout the night. And that'll be the same for Fourcade. A huge moment for both of those athletes tomorrow.
Yeah, and Johannes Ting is, one shot ahead of Fourcade already. He certainly will be by the time he comes in for that first shoot. But highly likely that with his ski speed, he can sort of assume if he shoots within 2 of Martin Fourcade, the title's his.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's have a look at the star performances of the day. Tiril Eckhoff continues her good form. That's her 9th podium finish of the season and puts her within touching distance of the Crystal Globe for the first time. And not so many Norwegian women have claimed the overall Crystal Globe in their time. So well done to Tiril Eckhoff. After the disappointment of the World Championships, things are looking up again.
And the globe with it.
8 out of 10 on the range, one more, and she might have won this one. Preutz, 90% hit rate today. Best performance of the year, I think, for her in these conditions, Mike. Showed much more speed than we've seen from her today, and very, very composed shooting.
Yeah, big improvement in terms of speed, only 20 seconds behind Herman. I'm quite sure she would not have been expecting that at the start of the race.
Yesterday the guys had very easy.
Was it an advantage going early? Bib 5 there taking second place, and of course Bib 2 with Herman taking the victory again.
That it is windy today, but the snowfall wasn't in the
and Denise Herman, who looked in imperious form in Novo Miesto, produced more of the same. Only 9 out of 10 on the range, but that was good enough with the ski speed she has. And if she'd had a good couple of first World Cups, then she could have been in the money. She was poor in Ostersund, she was worse in Hogfilsen when Germany were right out of the running. And then things started to turn around when we went to Le Grand Bonnard, and she has finished the season in style. 1 in Novo Miesto, 12th in the mass start, which was disappointing, but she's got her 2nd sprint win in the space of a week. So the sprint Crystal Globe secured by Denise Herman. There's confirmation. Moves just 9 points clear of Dorothea Viera, who had a bit of a meltdown today. Tiril Eckhoff 3rd. Roysland in her absence still hanging on to a top 4. Shows you how good the rest of her season has been. And what a shame she got ill, because she was in the running for the overall as well, Mike.
Her success at the World Championships, 7 races, 7 medals, 5 of them gold. And yes, totally spent mentally and physically after that huge effort in Antholz.
Yeah, and particularly the mass start. That was just indicative of the way she races.
It's incredible. She was, what, 23rd halfway through that final race on the final day in Antholz, and moved all the way from 23rd up to 1st.
Dorothea Viera has made life very, very tricky with today's performances. 3 misses in all, slower skiing than we expect from her. Herman can't quite reach the top, I don't think, in terms of the overall, but she's now fighting for 3rd place with Hannah Öberg, who is a long, long way behind at the start of tomorrow's pursuit. So it looks as though Germany will get someone into the top 3. And the athletes now make their way out for the flower ceremony. Lisa Vitozzi in the top 6, great for her. Davidova, another good performance, and Heunisch, as you know, she's been so consistent, Heunisch, and so unlucky not to medal at the World Championships.
Yes, her ski speed from the World Championships, if she had that ski speed today, I think she would be on the podium. She's one of only 4 to hit the perfect 10.
John Deere, a local company, So Kontiolahti, the first to take her place on the podium, in third place again, as I said, her 9th podium, but 7 of those have been wins. It's been a fantastic season for her, Mike, and if she does go on to lift the globe, very well deserved.
Incredible. 9 World Cup seasons. She tallied 6 wins coming into this race season, and she walks away with more than that in just this season alone. It's been absolutely brilliant for Kontiolahti, except the World Championships.
Yeah, I wonder what percentage of her prize money she gives to Oberega, who seems to have been key in transforming her shooting. Franziska Preuss, good to see her up there. 2 silver medals in the relays at the World Championships. She got a 3rd place in Nova Mesto last week, got 3rd in the mass start, which showed us what sort of form she was on. And today she's gone 1 better. And actually, she finished last season in good style, got a 2nd place in Oslo at the end of the season.
It seems strange. She almost, as the season comes to an end, she takes the tension away. Well, she releases all that speed that she's got the potential of giving.
Either that or everyone else is slowing down, which is highly likely. But not Denise Herrmann.
Not Denise. Interesting. She thought maybe it was going to be slower when the snow was falling so heavy. But I think she summarised it well. It was fairly equal for all.
Well, she's got the Crystal Globe for the sprint races for this year, and that's the tough one to get, with 9 sprint races scheduled, obviously 1 taken away. That look of surprise from Kontiolahti. I think she's been chatting to Therese Johaug.
And she missed
to approach.
Eckhoff missing too. She skied her way out of trouble. I'm so happy for Vitozzi in 4th place, and I think Vitozzi will be so positive, feeling so positive now that she's a real threat tomorrow for certainly a podium. Of course she is. She starts 4th.
Yeah, good start position for Vitozzi today. Only 12th in the overall World Cup. Remember, she was runner-up last year and took Vera to the wire. And great effort. Davidova again, still young, 2021. I think Urberg, Davidova could be the 2 athletes fighting it out for the Crystal Globe. But the more experienced, and Herrmann will be in there, and Vera, I hope, will be back for more. So it could be a fabulous season next year.
And of course, Reuschland, team doctor, team staff, team doctor on the left. There's so many players in the German team, and in every team, so many backup personnel.
The mystery box.
The mystery box.
I think they've got a model of a John Deere tractor, I think, something along those lines. Better than a block of cheese.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the formalities finished, and now let's look at those overall World Cup points. Vera on 781.
Warriors around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm loud.